There's a race on for the playoff places in the Cooperative Championship with the Sheffield Eagles and the Barrow Raiders among those in the hunt for a top 6 finish. So this showdown at the Don Valley Stadium could have a big say in who makes the cut come the end of the season. Well, the Barrow Raiders are currently 4th in the table and 4 points ahead of the 5th place Eagles. And Barrow have 2 games in hand on the sides around them. And that's Featherstone, Lee and Halifax above them. And Batley Bulldogs making up the top 6. On Tuesday night, Toulouse won 42-40 at Batley. A last-minute try from Toulouse converted by Nathan Wynn, giving them the win. But the bonus point took Batley up to 6th and has edged Widnes out of the playoff places at the moment. And Toulouse not out of the reckoning either. So that's how the top 6 looks at the moment. A busy weekend to come in the Championship. On Saturday, Toulouse will be hoping to make up more ground. They're at home to Whitehaven. That's a 7 o'clock kickoff in France. And then on Sunday afternoon, well, a bit of chopping and changing of fixture kickoff times. Featherstone and Widnes will kick off at 1 o'clock. Lee against Keighley will kick off at 1 o'clock. Dewsbury and Halifax is a 3 o'clock kickoff, we understand at the moment. And on Saturday, it's Gateshead against York at 7 o'clock. At the Thunderdome, and Doncaster against Rochdale is at 7:30. This is in Championship 1. And on Sunday, Swinton against Blackpool has been moved to a 1 o'clock kickoff, as has Workington against the South Wales Scorpion, and Hunslet against the London Scholars kicks off at 2 o'clock on Sunday afternoon. Well, Sheffield Eagles with all sorts of injury problems. No Howison, Woodcock, Thackeray. Missing tonight also are Aaron Groom, Tanguy Rapati and Michael Haley. So 1 or 2 changes in the Sheffield side. Missy Talapapa is at full back. Then it's Danny Mills, Menzieri. Jason Mossop continues in the centres. The brother of Wigan's Lee Mossop. Then it's Tim Bergin, the Irish international, on the wing. Half-back combination of Brendan Lindsay and Dane McDonald. And in the forwards, Mitchell Stringer, Craig Cook, Ryan Hepworth, Peter Green, Mike Burnett, dual registered with Hull FC now, and Trevor Exton at loose forward. And on the bench, Alex Zostak is back for the Eagles after a knee problem. Then it's Jed Corcoran, Joe Hurst and Matty Brooks alongside him on the bench for the coach Mark Aston. Barrow Raiders similarly injury hits and have suspension problems as well. Rob Roberts given a 5-match ban for a challenge on Kyle Amor of Whitehaven in the game at Craven Park on June the 8th. No Roberts, no Nixon, Matt James or James Coyle either for the Raiders. Gary Broadbent is at full back. It's Andy Ballard, Liam Harrison, Ned Cattick continues in the centres. Andreas Bauer, Jamie Rooney and Liam Campbell. And in the forwards, Andy Braycheck, Nathan Mossop, Brett McDermott, Michael Knowles, Martin Osler once to the Sheffield Eagles, and Zeb Luisi. And on the bench, Chris Young, Paul Noon, Jamie Butler and Richard Fletcher, and the coach Steve McCormack. And the other problem Steve McCormack has to contend with is a transfer embargo on the club at the moment because of the dispute Barrow are in with their player Andrew Henderson, and the RFL has put a block on any transfer movement at the moment. So I think a meeting due to take place shortly, but at the moment Steve McCormack and the Barrow Raiders have to make do with what they've got. They can't go into the transfer market, even though they have got injury problems. But these players nevertheless have done well this season. Barrow Raiders 4th in the table, games in hand on the sides above them. The reigning champions will be looking in the closing weeks of the regular season to make up that ground. The Sheffield Eagles looking for a bit of consistency with the resources they've got, Mark Aston has at his disposal. You probably expect a better than 5th place at the moment, but like Barrow Raiders, time to make a move maybe for the Sheffield Eagles. Won their last game, a trip to Whitehaven, but lost against the Barrow Raiders at Easter by 50 points to 4, so they'll be looking to reverse that against Steve McCormack's side. Gareth Hewer is the referee this evening here at wonderful sunny Don Valley Stadium. Bramall Lane undergoing pitch renovation, so the Eagles coming back here to the Don Valley Stadium for this game. And both these sides, Terry, will be hoping that in this final leg of the season they can hit a bit of consistency.
Both of these teams will look for a vast improvement. Both of them, last time they appeared on Sky Sports, they got beaten in Sheffield by Keighley, Barrow by Widnes. And I think they want to send out a message that they're real title contenders and challengers perfect conditions to play rugby league. I think you'll see both sides throw the ball around. You've got a dominant defensive side in this Barrow side, and they're the best defensive side in the competition. Only conceded 30 tries, so Sheffield have got to be at the best to break this side down.
Gareth Hewer is going to get us underway then here at the Don Valley. Jamie Rooney lofting that one into the air, hoping that the sun will cause a few problems for the Eagles, but no problems as they take control of possession with the first touch of the game.
Well, I certainly hope that Barrow's on-field trot wasn't anything to go by. Lots of those players walking. It's very hot out there, conditions very humid, but certainly a lack of intensity when they were walking onto the pitch.
Here is Mike Burnett. As mentioned earlier, a dual-registered player with Hull FC. Danny Mills, that's the 5th tackle, and there's already a Barrow Raiders player down as a result of that collision. It's Ned Cattick, very slow to get to his feet as the kick goes in. And Cattick only just now coming back to join his teammates. And off goes Gary Broadbent from the play the ball.
Well, it was Michael Knowles who's come over the top and he's clipped his own teammate, Ned Cattick. He's back into the line, just shaking his head. He'll be out to prove a point against Big Menziere, the left centre for Sheffield. That's sloppy play.
It was a loose pass from Mossab, and Knowles couldn't take it, but Cattick tied it up. He's still just clearing his senses, Ned Cattick. Got a whack from his teammate. That's the 5th tackle. And Rooney, under a bit of pressure, manages to get the kick in under the challenge from Burnett. And Missy Talapapa will field the ball.
I think you'll see both half-backs, both Brendan Lindsay and Jamie Rooney, have very good kicking games, and you'll see their opposing teams try to put pressure on them and work hard on the kick chase. Talipapa's picked up an injury there, so intense was Barrow's kick chase.
Well, this pitch is cutting up already, and I think Rod Studd can explain exactly what the position is.
Yeah, the pitch isn't in the best of conditions, Bill. There's a lot of sand all over it, a lot of patches of, well, no grass at all. They've filled it in with sand, and it will be a case of slip sliding away out there. I think if it was raining, we'd have a lot of problems. Of course, it's not going to rain tonight. It's a beautiful summer's evening. You mentioned the sun early on, Bill. The sun is definitely in Sheffield Eagles' favour in the first half, and the guy who'll be in the most problems will be Andreas Bauer playing on the left wing. The angle of it is aiming straight towards the Barrow left wing, so if the Eagles can get some high bombs up there, that'll be useful. It's pretty warm down here, but there's a nice pleasant breeze. In fact, it's quite a pleasant evening sat down on the touchline tonight, Bill. Back to you.
Oh, sounds very convivial down there. This pitch actually was relayed about 5-6 weeks ago, and I think this is the first game on it since they've done the work, and early indications are it's not standing up too well already. Even after the warm-up, it was showing a bit of wear and tear, but it's that time of year at these dual-use stadia.
If you watch what Barrow are doing, Craig Cook, the hooker for Sheffield Eagles, he'll get a lot of defence tonight. They need to tie him up and tire him out because he's a devastating runner with the ball.
Rooney's kick, and Missy Talapapa fields it and then gives it to the Irish international Tim Bergin, who'll have heavy responsibility on his shoulders this evening. When we've seen Sheffield Eagles this season, we've talked about their lack of a goal kicker with Johnny Woodcock out of the side long term with this knee problem, and he's got knee reconstruction, and they haven't managed to fill the void left by him. He was a phenomenally successful goal kicker. They've tried all sorts of players. Well, the latest one is Tim Bergin. Craig Cook keeps that ball alive. Now then, here's the danger man, Menziere, and there's a penalty and a high shot on the danger man.
Barrow just struggling with the speed of the play of the ball, and Ned Cattick, who has played front row forward in his career, just gives away the penalty, trying to buy that extra second.
Well, was it a high shot or was it interference? It was a high shot. It wasn't the highest of high shots. Cattick looking a bit hard done by, but the penalty taken by the Eagles, and they move into Barrow Raiders territory for the first time. Here's Lindsay back on the inside to Mike Burnett. Bustling run from Burnett. And Craig Cook, he's the danger man, leading try scorer for the Sheffield Eagles. Barrow have got to keep an eye on him, but they're getting the ball wide. Dane McDonald, Peter Green now. That's 4 tackles gone, and Green gets to his feet to play the ball just inside the Barrow 10, they're keeping this ball alive. They've got it back, I think. It's back to 1, says the referee. Ricocheted off Barrow's shins. And it was Green who pounced on that loose ball. Now here's Mike Burnett again. So pressure on this Raiders defence. Burnett through the first tackle. Here's Stringer. Knowles tries to take him on, so does Katic. Katic and Stringer eyeball to eyeball there. Katic gets his man in the end. Cook fires the pass infield, and again it's held. Hepworth it is, just short of that try line, and Cook goes for it himself. No, he doesn't. Stringer does and gets the try. Very well worked little move there between the 9 and 10, Craig Cook and Mitch Stringer. And such is the reputation at the moment of Craig Cook, with 18 tries to his name. All eyes were on him, but a quick turn, ball back on the other side, and there was Stringer on his shoulder to get his 10th try of the season.
Clever play by Sheffield. A neat little kick. The mistake by Broadbent. Sheffield get it back, 6 more tackles. Look at Cook, he gets out, he pulls the Barrow defenders away from him. Braycheck just doesn't clock on enough. Mitch Stringer is a very hard man to stop when you're defending your line. You can see Braycheck not moving, stood flat-footed. There's only one winner there, and that's big Mitch Stringer.
It's been good point-scoring form this season. 10 tries now. He's also kicked 31 goals in his 3rd spell with Sheffield. And Bergin, though, is the goal kicker tonight. 24 years of age, Tim Bergin. We saw him get man of the match in the game at Dewsbury on Sky Sports a few weeks ago. And he's landed that one. Former Gaelic footballer on target there. And Sheffield are 6-0 up here.
Well, Mitch Stringer actually puts the ball down, but credit this to Craig Cook. It's all about eye contact. He contacts with his eyes a player on the left, jumps out towards the right, just committing defenders, and Mitch Stringer with all the size and power. Let's just have another look at it. He looks left, comes out right, just opens that up like a can of tuna.
So the first real threat on that Barrow Raiders line, the first time Sheffield had put some pressure on, and they've come away with the points to lead by 6 points to 0 here. The Sheffield Eagles looking to atone for one of their worst performances of the season. They were beaten 50 points to 4 at Barrow back at Easter, so they've got a bit of a score to settle here. And they did beat the Barrow Raiders here last season in an infamous game towards the end of the season, when Barrow just needed a point to confirm the title, and so we had the sight of them going for 1 point to get the bonus point, which they succeeded in doing, despite the fact they were losing.
That's worrying for Steve McCormick. Straight from the kickoff, they've made 70 metres with no real big plays. Just straight and direct from this Sheffield side.
Lindsay tries a chip over the top. Bauer is back there. Bergin's got a hold of him, and they'll surely be penalised there. Yeah, just a little bit too enthusiastic there, trying to get Andreas Bauer back over his own try line.
That's a real shame for Sheffield there. An intelligent kick from Lindsay, and Tim Bergin trying to force Andreas Bauer off the island, and just penalised on that occasion. I'm not sure what's going on with the back of his head, though. Something's crawled up there.
Liam Harrison, that's a great tackle by Bergin on Harrison, and drove his Irish international colleague back there, and then they spill the ball at Barrow Raiders. Osler furious with himself there.
Well, he spills that ball because the Sheffield players are getting up off the line. They're putting pressure on him. He has a little look up in front of him and just loses that ball.
Could be a costly error from the Barrow Raiders man, because here they come again. Oh, Talapapa very nearly went without that. The Samoan international fumbling the ball. It's not as though it's slippery out there, although earlier on this afternoon when we arrived at the Don Valley Stadium, they did have the sprinklers on. Ryan Hepworth almost bursting through from Mitch Stringer's pass. Cook tried it again. Oof, that looked high on the little hooker. Trying to get to his feet, struggling to do so. Stringer and McDermott is it. Wouldn't clear the ruck there. Penalty conceded. Will they take the tap?
It's a real mess at the play of the ball then. McDermott on the floor. Cook trying to get the ball. Mitch Stringer.
And the signal going out from the sidelines. via was Savataboa, who's down there on the sidelines conveying Mark Aston's signals that they'll go for 2 points.
It's Mick Cook who's trying to get to his feet, and Mitch Stringer, he has the intelligence to just leave that ball. He knows he's going to make Gareth Hewer make a decision. Brett McDermott, to the letter of the law, is required to roll away.
So it gives Tim Bergin another opportunity to land 2 more points. And this one again bang in front of the posts. And to extend the Sheffield Eagles lead. It's not been a good start for the Barrow Raiders. Too many mistakes from Steve McCormack's side, and another 2 points. 8-0, the Eagles are ahead.
I'm not sure if I was Mark Aston, I would have told them to run that ball. Just looking at the body language from this Barrow side as Brett McDermott coming back to halfway, you can see that he's just not getting out of the way. Mick Stringer does a good job to earn his side that penalty, but I think they should have just kept that pressure on.
I disagree, Tez, because I think they're making good yards when they're on kick return and kick-off return. They're making 70, 80 metres and just taking the petrol out of the tank, although they've allowed the ball to bounce there.
Oh, and Green just got away with that, managing to retrieve the ball before it got away from him. Just touch judging close attendance there.
Don't let the rugby league ball bounce. It could bounce anywhere. But the point I'm making is they're making good meters. They've got hard running forwards with players pushing up in support. That ball was ripped.
Back-to-back penalties conceded by Brett McDermott.
And good decision by Gareth Hewitt. Brett McDermott trying to make amends for his mistake. You can just see he just ripped the ball as Ryan Hepworth's going down. Silly mistake, putting his side under more pressure.
So here is the try scorer, Mitch Stringer, son of Somerset. Born in Yeovil, in actual fact, Mitch Stringer, but has played for Scotland. And over the halfway line with Ryan Hepworth. And Hepworth, 3 Barrow Raiders there to stop him. Now here's Dane McDonald. McDonald fires the pass out for Talapapa. Mossop plays the ball. Trevor Exton now. And it's all been Sheffield Eagles so far in the opening 12 minutes here. Barrow Raiders have hardly had a complete set of 6, I think. Well, they might have an opportunity now from that kick that is too strong. And the coach mystified by that, perhaps. Just let the pressure off, and here goes Andy Ballard. Ballard trying to go on the outside and needs a second attempt to get a hold of him.
It'd be better served going straight forward and playing direct up the middle of the park.
Bit like this guy does, Liam Harrison. Very directional player, Harrison.
Just try and take yards. Exactly what Martin Osler's doing there.
Osler was here in 2006 as a Sheffield Eagles player, and that's a good run, great step from Nathan Mossop. The pass, though, to finish it off, not so good. We've got 2 Mossops out there. Jason Mossop in the Sheffield Eagles side, brother of Wiggins Lee, and Nathan Mossop, just seen him there for the Barrow Raiders. Not related, they're both Cumbrians, though, but Nathan Mossop, a Millamite, and Jason Mossop from Whitehaven.
And it was Jamie Rooney who was in support of Mossop there, and you feel that if Barrow are going to go on and do well in this game, then Jamie Rooney needs to be busier. And it's a sign of the weather, the conditions, and how quickly this game's going to be played, that Barrow have got 4 forwards on the bench, and they're about to change one of them now.
Well, the other point about that is they haven't got anybody else, Barry. I mean, resources are so stretched at this Barrow Raiders club at the moment, with this transfer embargo as well. But it's Lindsay now. Lindsay, little chip kick over the top. Bauer! Whoa, he nearly made a hash of that because he looked at it. He thought, am I going to get this or not? But in the end, it all works out well for them. But that could have gone horribly wrong.
He was lucky to get that straight away. He's taken exception to the tackle by Green. But as soon as he catches this ball, I'm not sure whether it was a high shot or a grab by Peter Green. Well, they get the penalty anyway. Here's the kick from Lindsay.
It's offside, Tez.
Well,
Might have had the sun as an added hazard to deal with there, Andreas Bauer.
Don't get involved.
But no love lost between two former Doncaster colleagues, Bauer and Green. So Barrow Raiders in possession.
You were talking about Jamie Rooney, but I think that the forwards have got to lay that platform for Jamie Rooney. Jamie Rooney can't play rugby coming out of his own half all day.
No, but he can push through and he can make things
and that's
happen.
what he was doing. His kicking game second to none. He just needs that platform, that quick play of the ball on the fourth or fifth tackle.
And that's what I said. He needs to get involved.
Well, here's Michael Knowles getting involved for the Barrow Raiders, and the most promising period of possession for them this so far in the game. They're trailed by 8 points to 0, and Chris Young going for a little bit of a virtuoso run. Got boot to ball there, showed good skill, did Chris Young. But the ball just not running true for him on this pitch, which, as Rod said earlier on, is already cutting up. It was good work from Young. Oh, way up. Was there a bit of a shove from Lindsay there?
Irrelevant of whether there was a shove. I'm not sure Steve McCormack would want his front rower to just put a little dink through.
If it had come off, it would have been spectacular. Green nearly went without that one. Up to the halfway line. Here's Trevor Exton. There is the Barrow Raiders coach. Really has got a lot on his plate. We noticed he was taking the warm-up for his side, running the water for them as well.
I've never known Steve McCormack to take the warm-up. Normally James Coyle would be out there on the park taking it. Obviously Dave Clark last year, he's now at Wigan. But he's starting to ring the changes. Big Richard Fletcher is about to enter the field. Done an awful lot of defence, this Barrow side. 69 tackles in
already
16 minutes. And that is not what you want to do. You want to make sure that you're controlling the football in weather like this.
Well, here is Gary Broadbent. And it's still warm out there. There is a bit of a breeze, but it's been a steamy afternoon in the Steel City so far. Here's Ned Katic. Katic, Ballard coming back in field, runs into the grip of Menzieri. And PNG's 2008 Sportsman of the Year makes the tackle. 3 tackles gone as Braychek gets to his feet, play the ball, and little spat between him and Peter Green there. But it's Braychek who'll actually leave the field, possibly at the right time. Things just getting a little bit heated. Knowles, good line, but well spotted by Burnett. That's the 5th tackle. Rooney chips the kick in. Oh, Missy Talapapa beaten by the bounce there. Manages to get back and get it at the 2nd attempt. And Ballard gets him at the 3rd attempt.
Well, he may well have dropped that ball then. Was there a Barrow hand in?
Looks like it. Penalty awarded against the Raiders.
Well, it's the 2nd time that they get to the kick. They put Missy Talapapa under all kinds of pressure. And the 2nd time that they give a penalty away, that time it was Ballard. The other occasion it was Brett McDermott.
You just can't afford to keep giving your opposition field position here. You'll suffocate yourself and you'll end up with no energy. And Barrow, who have to do it tough, you're right, Tez. 71 tackles, 18 minutes. It's a lot of workload in this weather.
Here's Menzieri. And the sand flies as Menzieri put his foot down. Look at the pitch there. He plays the ball. Here is Mitch Stringer. Just his try on those 2 goals from Tim Bergin separating the sides. Eagles quick out of the blocks and giving it a bit of a width here now. Dane McDonald shifts it wide to Jason Mossop. Former Leeds Met student, Mossop, a student international, in fact, Jason Mossop. And the kick ricochets and comes back to Lindsay. Oh, and the referee has said it was back to 1. The call came too late for Lindsay, though.
Oh, I'm not sure he heard that. If he'd heard it, Brendan Lindsay, I'm sure he kept hold of it. Ricocheted off a Barrow player right into his hands. And sometimes players need to make split decisions like that. Here we can see it hits a Barrow player. I'm not sure he played at it, to be fair, anyway.
And Mark Aston frustrated, I'm not sure, with Lindsay, more the fact that the call maybe came a little bit late. Katic flips the ball onto Ballard, but it went forward. Nice try from Ned Katic, but just drifted forward before it got to Ballard.
It was decent ball movement there, but I think the pressure from the Sheffield winger made Ned Katic virtually have to pat it on to what he thought was going to hit his winger.
It's interesting that the two top try scorers out there tonight are both forwards, although Katic playing in the centres, but ordinarily a second row forward. Katic, he's got 15 tries this season, and Sheffield Eagles hooker Craig Cook has got 18 tries. And without Craig Cook, the Eagles really would be struggling for tries, because nobody is anywhere near him on the try charts this season.
It's about time the tables turned and the forwards have scored more tries than the backs.
Well, the Eagles have certainly got the firepower out wide. They just haven't fired this season so far. There's Peter Green. Here is Cook. McDonald now steps back inside, was looking for some support. It was late getting there. Sostak was arriving as that ball is gobbled up by the Barrow Raiders defence. Sostak just on the field.
That was good awareness by Liam Campbell to pick that ball up. But again, they look like they're really struggling bringing this ball away from their own try line. Sheffield's defence has been absolutely fantastic in the opening 20 minutes.
Here's Osler. Well, next Thursday, another Cumbrian flavour to the evening. We're in Whitehaven. Whitehaven against Widnes is the championship game next Thursday, 7:30 on Sky Sports 2. Generally, quite a tight game, that one. So that's Whitehaven against Widnes next Thursday. This evening, it's Sheffield Eagles against Barrow as that kick is hoisted by Campbell. Missy Talapapa comes and claims that one emphatically.
Nice take from Sheffield fullback there on that occasion. Just before that, here we see it, eyes on the ball, jumps up, twists and turns his body, just in case he loses grip on it. But I was going to make the point that Barrow, Danny Mills, I think he's dropped that ball. In the action of playing it, Danny Mills, let's watch him. Yep, there you go.
Well, he's complaining that Richard Fletcher actually gets a hands on him there. No, he just loses that ball, Danny Mills. Frustrated with himself.
So Barrow Raiders have head and feet at the scrum, and an opportunity for them now. Liam Campbell goes on the run. Tackled by Mossop. Here's Andreas Bauer in off his wing. Makes a few more yards. There is some steel in this Sheffield defence so far this evening. Hasn't always been the case this season. Certainly wasn't the case the last time they met the Barrow Raiders. Chris Young plays the ball. Rooney now. Luisi. Katic back in field. But three Eagles there to halt his progress.
There's not enough movement. That's easy plays to read from this Barrow side. Again, they get a penalty. It's Mike Burnett not letting the Barrow player play the ball. But they need more movement. They've got a lot of players who can cause problems.
Here's Knowles now. He's tackled on the 10-metre line. Fletcher. 2 tackles gone, and they're the closest they've been all evening, I think, to the Sheffield Eagles line so far. Campbell, Luisi trying to slice his way through the Eagles' defence. 3 tackles gone, and they're right on that try line now. The short pass, and Osler, I think, is in. Martin Osler, has he got that ball down for a try against his former club? First call this evening for video ref Stuart Cummins to see whether Osler has got that ball down.
I think Osler gets over for the try.
I think you're right, Tez. The first time I watched it, I thought that's on the line. Cook trying his best to deny him.
Good work by Osler, straightening the play up. Mossop telling his players that that's what he wants them to do. Don't run sideways, you make yourself an easy target. And Martin Osler's just gone big and strong. And I think they scored a try for Barrow.
But has Craig Cook, who's just going to come into shot now, has he got something underneath this ball to prevent it?
I think he gets this down, Bill.
It's Jason Mossop who might have his arm under there.
There you go. Here we go. Look at that now.
No, I agree with you, Tez. I think that's a try.
I know his knee comes into the shot.
It could be a benefit of the doubt.
Cook does try everything. You can see his left knee coming to try and stop the play. That's on the white line.
Stuart Cummins is the video ref tonight. Has Martin Osler got the Barrow Raiders' first points of the game? That he has. His 5th try of the season. And the man who missed last year's grand final cruelly through injury has got them on track here this evening. Despite the best efforts of the Eagles' defence.
Well, here's the penalty. It's Mike Burnett. He wouldn't let Ned Cattick get up and play the ball. If there's one thing this Barrow side can do, they can score tries when they play down here. And it's just good play, simple play by Martin Osler. A lot of the Barrow plays running sideways, not this man, Martin Osler. You can see old Liam Campbell go mad in the background. But good play and just a bit of field position, and Barrow will score the try.
That's more like it, says the coach. Martin Osler has had his bad luck with injuries, but a smile on his face now. Now then, can this Rooney hit the target? Is he interested? This one is. But it's wide of the target, unfortunately. But Jamie Rooney will no doubt get other opportunities this evening. But he's pushed that one wide. But Sheffield Eagles 8, Barrow Raiders 4, Osler the try scorer.
When you're on attack, you're always trying to tell lies with the ball. And Chris Young's run on the right just takes the attention of some of the Sheffield defenders and gives Osler half a gap. And that's all he needs. You're talking about Rooney and you're talking about the England football team there, I assume, Bill. We've got our own Vuvuzela at the side of us.
No, with that Steve-O, we've already bestowed that honour on Steve-O. Sky Sports' very own Vuvuzela. Oh, Sailor. Got the wrong end of the stick there, Barry. Took a while, but the penny eventually dropped. Here's Michael Knowles. And Knowles heading for the sidelines. Here is Cattick. So that's a warning for the Eagles. The first time, really, the Barrow Raiders have put a bit of pressure on the defence. They found a way through. Cattick not impressed with that and made his feelings clear, as Ned Cattick tends to do. That was a good-looking kick for a moment, but then the leg break kicked in, and it went the wrong way.
Well, Zeb Luisi kicking on the 4th tackle. A bit too strong, wouldn't mind keeping that ball in field. But again, they just keep turning this Sheffield side around, forcing them to bring the ball back away from their own try line.
So Sheffield off to that flying start with Stringer's try, but since then, Barrow Raiders have come back strongly into the game. Here's Mike Burnett now. Burnett and Rooney in with the tackle. Cook going dangerously down the sidelines, and those same two players make the tackle again. That's the 5th tackle.
Well, Craig Cook's really targeting Jamie Rooney in defence.
And Craig Cook hit the ground with a thump there.
Could this be a dangerous tackle? Unintentionally. I don't know whether his head or his back slams on the floor here.
He certainly felt that, Craig Cook.
I was going to say, to be fair, every tackle's dangerous, isn't it?
He's back on his feet. Ned Cattick just gives him a pat on the back. And then the kick is hoisted. And it's well taken, it's well kept alive, and McDonald gets the ball away, but it's the turnover. It was on the last, just for a moment, it looked as though that might come off as Dane McDonald got his hands to the ball.
But they are very committed, this Sheffield side. Missy Talapapa gathers the ball and just can't take the offload from McDonald. I feel like the pressure was mounting on this Barrow side. Jamie Rooney, we talk about Craig Cook targeting Jamie Rooney. You only have to look at the work rate from Ned Cattick in defence with 13 tackles and Michael Knowles 15 tackles.
Richard Fletcher plays the ball. Here is Michael Knowles, the former Gateshead Thunder player. Prolific point scorer with the Thunder. Plays that ball. He and Mike Burnett. There's a bit of heat out there. One or two players just having a pop at each other off the ball. Good pass. Well, belated pass really finds Andreas Bauer. Had to just stretch back and retrieve that ball.
Yeah, that's a shame. If Liam Harrison gets his core skill in order there and gets that pass away, then you feel that's a certain try.
Fifth tackle. And Rooney will hoist this one. Goes across the field. Bergen is coming for this one. Didn't really get it. And the ball's still alive. And in fact, the penalty goes against the Barrow Raiders. Somebody taken out. Bergen protests his innocence. And he might have a point there.
Well, Tim Bergen saying that he's the man who's taken
Exactly. Gary Broadbent just jumped straight into him.
Well, did he have his eye on the ball? He didn't make any attempt to catch the ball.
It's Liam Campbell who was the culprit there. So the Eagles hard done by with that call.
I think they've got away with it there, Barrow.
The chances are that the Raiders will score from this now, just to rub salt in the wound there. Here is Fletcher.
Easy player to read. There's no one again pushing up in outside.
Campbell. Luisi. Katic comes back inside. Here is Broadbent. Broadbent just short of the try line. Nearly opened up there for the veteran fullback, Gary Broadbent. Campbell. Rooney now. Rooney's short pass. Osler looking for a second. Gets the ball away. Harrison picks it up. And will he get the try? I think he will. And that does just compound the hard done-by feeling that the Sheffield Eagles must have. But Harrison gets the try, and those Barrow Raiders supporters who've made a tortuous journey to get here this evening. Motorway closures not helping their journey, but that's brought them a smile. And Liam Harrison getting his 11th try of the season.
Well, I think they were very lucky to get away with this. Liam Campbell taking Tim Bergen out. Didn't make any attempt to catch that ball. But Barrow are at the best when they move the ball. There's a lot of movement around the plays. Osler again looking to offload that ball. Liam Campbell. They are too big and too strong. I'm not sure whether Osler actually lost that ball, but Liam Harrison, not waiting around, gathers that ball and goes in and scores the try for Barrow.
Now then, Rooney, can he land this one? Jamie Rooney successful with that conversion, and 20th successive game that Rooney has scored in. So Sheffield 8, Barrow Raiders 10, 20 games in a row for Jamie Rooney.
And Jamie Rooney, when he passes that ball, he fixes the defender up, which means he virtually takes him out. And Osler's offload, shall we say, was picked up by Harrison.
So Barrow Raiders have turned this round. 8-0 down they were. They now lead by 10 points to 8. And that's another penalty.
And I was just going to say, Bill, what you've got to do, you've got to make sure you're disciplined. They've made a couple of mistakes. You can see it. Is it Cook that strips that ball? They've made a couple of mistakes. They give some silly penalties where they give up real daft field position. And Barrow just content to chew the yards up at the middle of the park, and then with Jamie Rooney just orchestrating at the back, telling his forwards where he wants them, and they've got speed and skill and flair on the flanks.
Fletcher straight up the middle over the 40-metre line. That's definitely the sandiest patch of the field around that 40-metre mark in the Sheffield half. Menzieri gets a hold of Ned Katic and manages to loosen his grip on the ball as well. Good work from the big PNG centre.
It was a good shot from Menzieri. Those two players will be physical. I'm looking forward to the clashes from those two as Barrow return the favour and they begin to lose the cool. It's just a good target, a little bit of a strip, but there's nothing illegal about that. And here we go. The tackle has been affected. And Knowles comes in and gives the penalty away.
Craig Cook has left the field for the Sheffield Eagles. Matty Brooks taking his place, and Cook, I think, still feeling a little bit shaken by that thumping tackle he was on the receiving end of short time ago. And there is Brooks. Now Dane McDonald. McDonald's short ball, but solid defence from the Barrow Raiders. Chris Young in there. Lindsay, Missy Talapapa joining in from full-back. He's tackled by Fletcher. Katic, as ever, is there. He's everywhere, Ned Katic. Here is Menzieri now. And here he just swats aside Zeb Luisi. Here is Brooks now. Lindsay chips the kick in. Bergin will go for this, and oh, very nearly gets there. Bauer was under a little bit of pressure there.
Well, again, creative play by Sheffield, but there's not many players who do that to Zeb Luisi. One of the biggest hitters in this championship. There you can see Tim Bergen going for that ball, just couldn't gather that ball in to score the try.
It was probably a split second off in his dive. He dived a little bit too early. I think Mark Aston would rather keep this ball in play and keep the Barrow players, keep them coming away from their own half.
There's Chris Young in possession for the Barrow Raiders. And Young gets the penalty, and the whistle of Gareth Hewer
well, again, Mike
is
Burnett
being heard quite a lot tonight.
Well, Gareth Hewer was saying to Mike Burnett, I'd already called held. You held your hand on too long. That's why I've awarded the penalty against you.
Go.
It's Knowles now.
Fast, move.
Away, trying to get away from Menzieri. You don't do that very easily.
And I was going to say, I'm not sure that's the play as well. Straight off the tap, targeting Menzieri.
Wait.
And Richard Fletcher felt that, and Fletcher's down on his haunches. Zeb Luisi does well to get the pass away, but Broadbent couldn't take it in the face of some really claustrophobic Sheffield Eagles defence there.
Well, let's give some credit to Dane McDonald, who come in and put pressure, first of all, on Zeb Luisi, hooded him into making the pass. And then it was Jason Mossop. When you see Richard Fletcher still struggling.
And the signal from the physio there is that Richard Fletcher might not be able to continue. Mike Burnett really collared him there.
He's just been helped up by the physios. This doesn't look good.
You know, I'm not sure whether his foot came under.
I think it's definitely, yeah.
His left foot.
You could see in his face as he's going into collision, just that wince and just that anguish in his face.
Definitely twisted something there, Richard Fletcher. So a setback for the Barrow Raiders. Jamie Butler, big 6'5" forward, comes on in his place. And Fletcher, meanwhile, being carried still to the sidelines, to the Barrow Raiders dugout for some treatment. Steve McCormack will be horrified to see that, as will Mark Aston be horrified to see that, but Barrow Raiders got enough injury problems as it is.
Well, Tim Bergen goes into the tackle, and it's big Jamie Butler who comes in over the top, tries to duck underneath. I think it actually comes off his knee, off Jamie Butler's knee. Referee Gareth Hewer saying the ball's lost.
Head and feed then to the Barrow Raiders, about 25 metres out. Here's Rooney now. Zeb Luisi, Harrison on the charge, men out wide, Ballard is one of them, he's in for the try. Very sweetly worked move from the Barrow Raiders, and it worked to perfection. And Andy Ballard coming across the field to finish that one off and claim 14th try of the season. And it came from a Sheffield Eagles error.
Well, it's Tim Bergen, he's trying to get out, but he just loses that ball. It's head and feed, and from the scrum, just a set piece that these players will practice on the team play. And good play by Liam Harrison. He pulls in Tim Bergen to set Ballard up free on the wing. But again, more movement, more straightening the players up. Zeb Luisi, then onto Harrison, and then that man, Ballard, one of the fastest men in the championship.
He is a very fierce finisher, Andy Ballard. And that really did click for the Barrow Raiders. And it's given Jamie Rooney this conversion attempt from way out wide now. Tight to the touchline. And this has been a real turnaround here at the Don Valley Stadium. From 8-0 down, Barrow Raiders gradually taking control of this game, but Rooney has missed with that one. 14-8. Barrow Raiders lead, the side fourth in the table. A win here tonight, well, they'll stay fourth, I think, but they'll close the gap on the sides above them. They've got games in hand as well. Here's the try.
It's a quality side that can go behind in the opening 15 or so minutes and then find the level and find the balance. And I said I thought they looked a bit lethargic. Of course, they've travelled from Barrow, the bus journey down. We saw Steve McCormack warming the team up. We already know there's 17 players fit, and that's all there is. So it's a tremendous effort from Barrow tonight.
Maybe that's a sign of confidence, though, when you mentioned that they were walking up. Maybe they're confident of getting the result.
Maybe they was.
There's big Jamie Butler, Ned Cattick. The Sheffield Eagles, that's taking the wind out of their sails. This Steve McCormack's team's comeback. Chris Young now, always busy when he comes on. Young, the Lancashire-born, Australian-raised player. Nathan Mossop plays the ball. Rooney puts the kick in. Word from the sidelines is that it is a knee problem for Richard Fletcher. Mills now.
Barrow have definitely upped the tempo in this game. They've started to get back into the game. They were 50 tackles more in the opening 25 minutes of this game. They're more or less level pegging now. That shows what mistakes that the Sheffield side have been giving away, the back-to-back penalties that they've been giving away.
Peter Green plays the ball. Here is Trevor Exton now. Again, the Barrow Raiders' defence is good and solid on that 40-metre line in the Eagles' half. Matty Brooks. Brooks, busy little run from him. Needs some support. Yeri is here on his left. Yeri says, kick ahead, and Lindsay gets the ball away wonderfully to Missy Talapapa. And just when it looked as though they were going down a cul-de-sac, Missy Talapapa, the Sheffield Eagles captain, arrived on the scene in the nick of time. And he gets his fourth try of the season, the Samoan international, finishing off a great Sheffield Eagles break. That man there at the bottom of the shots, Matty Brooks, igniting it all from just inside his own half.
What a break, what a try. Look at the vision from Matty Brooks, straight up the middle of the park. He's looking for support. Brendan Lindsay comes with him. He offloads the pass under all kinds of pressure from Zeb Luisi. But that is fantastic vision from this Sheffield side. Matty Brooks come off the bench to make a real impact. And what does he do? He creates a try out of nothing. And Missy Talapapa backing up like all good fullbacks should. There's the little ruse smile of Mark Aston.
Once of Cronulla Sharks, had 3 seasons at the Sharks and also with the New Zealand Warriors earlier in his career, Missy Talapapa. And now Bergin with this conversion attempt to level the scores. The half-time hooter has sounded. And Tim Bergin, whose previous 2 kicks have been pretty straightforward. This one a bit more testing for the Irish international. He's on target, though. And Gareth Ewer signals that is the end of the first 40 minutes, and it's been a pretty competitive one as well. Both coaches with a bit of thinking to do, the way the first half has swung backwards and forwards. Mark Aston's side going 8-0 up. Steve McCormack's team hitting back to lead 14-8, but right at the break, a great Sheffield Eagles try